Next on Worcester News tonight, Worcester's tax rate debate heats up. The Chamber of Commerce is calling on counselors to support businesses. Plus, a rise in the number of injured owls is keeping vets busy at Tufts Wildlife Clinic. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. We begin tonight with people all over the nation tuning in to watch the funeral of former President George H.W. Bush. Close family and friends attended the church service in the 41st president's adopted hometown of Houston, Texas. President Bush was born in Massachusetts, and closer to home, many people at a Shrewsbury diner were paying close attention today. President Bush passed away Friday at the age of 94. Today's funeral comes after the nation said goodbye at a moving memorial at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Many we spoke to at Brody's Diner say it's important for them to pay their respects to the former president and honor his legacy.
And sit and watch this great man who was our president.
He's a great man and sacrificed a lot for our country even before he was president. And, it's kind of the end of an era in some ways that this generation is passing. So it's nice to see everyone kind of come together and remember the sacrifices his family made.
And following today's service, Bush was taken by a train named in his honor to his presidential library at Texas A&M University, where he will be laid to rest alongside his wife Barbara and daughter Robin. Jay Gray reports.
After 4 days of public mourning, today's service was private and personal.
Today we are gathered to celebrate the life of a man that we all adored.
1,200 or so filling St. Martin's Church, where President George H.W. Bush worshiped, his oldest grandchild and namesake, honoring his Gampy.
George Herbert Walker Bush was the most gracious, most decent, most humble man that I will ever know.
His best friend and former Secretary of State, Jim Baker, struggling to say goodbye.
Because our glory, George, was to have had you as our president and as such a friend.
Long before his passing, Bush had asked his favorite group, the Oak Ridge Boys, to sing at his funeral.
Bright shining as the sun.
Another favorite, Reba McEntire.
For thine is the kingdom.
Brought President George W. Bush to tears. As his flag-draped casket left the chapel and adopted hometown of Houston for the last time, thousands lined the streets and train tracks leading to College Station as a locomotive bearing his name carried the 41st president back to the place he always felt most comfortable, at his wife's side.
And tonight, Charter TV3 is airing a 30-minute special remembering President George H.W. Bush. It's produced by our Spectrum News sister station in Austin, Texas. Here's a quick clip from the program.
So help me God. God bless you.
The 41st President of the United States called Texas home in the years right before his presidency and during his life after his single term as Commander-in-Chief. But he was born a New Englander in Milton, Massachusetts on June 12, 1924.
The special airs tonight and Friday at 7:30 and then again Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Turning our attention to the weather, another brisk December day, but some spots may see a few flurries tonight. For more on that, let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Kelly.
Yeah, it was a variable sky today. We had sort of warm air trying to come in at one level of the atmosphere, cold air at another. Well, the cold air is going to win out eventually. There's a line of showers of snow and rain, St. Louis to Cincinnati. Some snow squalls in New York and Vermont. The cold air clouds from the last batch of cold that came in that really never left, still offshore. So we're kind of in between the fronts right now. It's cold outside again this evening. Temperatures falling through the 30s and the 20s, and there are some snow showers, so we'll stop it at 12:30. Some snow showers in the mountains to our west, some rain and snow mixed along the coast, so I'm not saying it's going to be dry here, but if anything happens tonight, it's going to be in the form of some light snow or some flurries. I don't think enough to whiten the ground. Maybe some of the hills get just a little trace. It's a cold front going by. Initially, the air is not that much colder tomorrow morning. As a matter of fact, it's less cold to start the day tomorrow than the last couple of mornings, but temperature's going to kind of get stuck there around 25, 30 degrees in the hills. Lower elevations get up to about 30, 35 degrees. That's by noontime. Wind out of the northwest will be increasing, gusting past 25 miles an hour in the afternoon. The wind chill is going to go right down. The temperature will follow it tomorrow night. Very cold Saturday, and then a little less cold Sunday. Full weekend and 10-day in a few minutes.
It's been a debate for years in Worcester. Right now, the city has a dual tax rate, but some say a single rate may be better for businesses, while others are concerned what it will mean for homeowners. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now with more. Chandler?
Olivia, over the past several weeks, some surrounding communities have moved to a single rate or closer to one. Ahead of Worcester's vote, the Chamber of Commerce is hoping businesses get some relief. The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce says slowly moving to a single tax rate could help take the burden off businesses. The suggestion comes ahead of an upcoming city council vote.
It's everyone paying, their fair share. And if we want to grow jobs and expand the tax base, this is a factor.
Chamber President and CEO Tim Murray says the commercial tax rate has increased the past 3 years. He says he's especially concerned about how it impacts manufacturing in the city.
During that same period, we've seen several prominent manufacturers, in part because of cost, and taxes are a major factor in that, move outside of the city.
The town of Webster has been closing the gap between commercial and residential the past several years and just approved a single rate. Town Administrator Doug Willardson says a big reason was to bring more businesses into town.
To encourage people to come to our historic downtown, to have businesses open up in some of our business plazas. So it's always been a focus on being business friendly and welcoming.
But the possibility of Worcester moving closer to a single rate isn't without concerns. Mullen Sawyer is the president and CEO of Oak Hill Community Development Corporation. He says homeowners face extreme high costs, and a higher tax bill could only make things worse for them.
They're spending 30 to 50% of their total income on housing, and that makes it extremely non-sustainable and puts them at risk.
Sawyer says finding the right tax rate is all about balancing both sides,
so that we get a tax rate that's good for people who live in our community and work and invest in our community. It's got to be both.
Mullen says there's a serious housing shortage in the city, especially when it comes to affordable housing. He says housing is critical and about to get worse. City Council is scheduled to vote on the tax rate next Tuesday. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Opening statements are set to start Monday for the trial of an 82-year-old man charged with murder. A 16-member jury was chosen to hear the case. Ralph Demasi is charged with murder and robbery in the shooting death of an armored truck guard in 1991. It happened during a holdup on Lincoln Street. Prosecutors say 52-year-old Edward Morlock was carrying bags of money from a Shaw supermarket when he was gunned down. 12 jurors will deliberate, and the alternates will be chosen at random immediately before deliberations begin. The city of Worcester could soon see its second medical marijuana dispensary. The Botanist promises a variety of products and say they have big plans for the future. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now with more. Brittany?
Olivia, the shop is waiting for the Department of Public Health's approval. It's their final step. They say after that, they're ready to open within hours. Chris Tolford is putting the final details in place at the Botanist. The general manager says they'll soon become the second medical marijuana shop to open in Worcester.
We're just waiting for final approval. So, we're hopeful over the next few days to weeks to be actually open here for patients.
The Botanist parent company, Acreage Holdings, is one of the largest cannabis companies in the nation. The medical marijuana facility is opening shops across central Massachusetts with locations in Worcester, Leominster, and Shrewsbury.
We kind of targeted the central Mass and all of our dispensaries being pretty close, so we can you know, have a presence here in this area, and we're very excited to be part of the community.
But the Botanist isn't stopping at medical. The facility on Pullman Street also has a recreational license in the works. They say following other recent openings like Cultivate and Leicester, they will be more prepared.
We are making some adjustments based on what they have done to hopefully make it an easier transition. The security aspect is very important for us in our process, both for ourselves, our patients, and the communities.
The company's focus is to educate patients while offering a unique space.
It conjures up the image of a botanist store from, say, the 19th century with the period sort of artifacts like the bottles, the vegetation everywhere. I think it's something that customers will come in. They're not going to want to leave.
We have a strong, knowledgeable staff that again can talk with any type of patient that comes in here to meet their needs.
Tolford says if all goes to plan, they will open recreationally in early 2019. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Most owls are nocturnal and hunt their prey in the dark, but this can sometimes be dangerous for the birds with people and cars in their habitat. Tufts Wildlife Clinic says lately they've seen an increase of injuries to the owls. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us now with the details. Rosalind?
Olivia, this is the largest number of barred owls the clinic has ever seen, and they want people to be vigilant to avoid injuring them. These barred owls are rehabilitating at Tufts Wildlife Clinic at Cummings Veterinary Medical Center in Grafton after suffering traumatic injuries in the wilds.
Main reason we're getting them right now is due to them being hit by cars or flying into vehicles.
The clinic's assistant director, Maureen Murray, says they've admitted 85 barred owls since August 1st. It's the highest number they've ever seen.
It fluctuates with their population fluctuations in the wild.
Murray says the owls like to hunt at night near roadways where they can easily spot their prey. The problem is cars can't see them, and the owls are coming into the clinic with broken bones and injuries to their eyes and head.
The injuries to their eyes are because their eyes are so large, it takes up so much of their head that if they suffer blunt trauma anywhere to their body, not even necessarily directly to their head, their eyes are pretty susceptible to injury.
The owls go through physical therapy, which usually takes a couple of weeks. The clinic has them fly in different size cages, and they are closely monitored until they are able to be released back into the wilds.
We encourage and allow whoever found that bird to come back and get it and bring it back to the town where it was found.
Murray says the species is pretty common in Massachusetts. She advises drivers to use caution, especially at night, to avoid injuring the owls and other birds.
If you slow down, just to give a little more reaction time for the bird and for yourself. So slow down, keep an eye out for owls because they are swooping across the road.
Now, earlier today, the clinic had 24 owls. One was released this afternoon and 2 more will be released tomorrow. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester County Sheriff's Department distributes winter wear today to those in need. This is Sheriff Lou Evangelitis' 8th year doing the drive. He says each year he's been able to donate more and more coats, and this year he was able to distribute more than 3,500 winter jackets to families and charitable organizations in need throughout Worcester County, like St. Anne's in Shrewsbury.
The generosity of Worcester County, and every one of these coats just reflects the goodwill that people have in their hearts to help other people. Part of my family.
And Evangelitis says the need for warm clothes is there every year.